Hey everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. You are joining me either live on Facebook, Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, or perhaps you are catching the replay on YouTube or on Facebook. Tonight, I am going to combine the terrific toadstools and elements of text with shades of blue to make, well, in my opinion, a really cool card. So I hope you feel the same way I do once we get finished with this project. All right, I am just messing around with my laptop, refreshing it so I can make sure that my hands are in view. Everything's looking good. All right, I think we're ready to go. Tonight I will be using the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder along with, obviously, terrific Toadstools stamp set and the Elements of Text stamp set. Hey, Carissa, you are staying up late because tomorrow's a holiday. Hello, Kate. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow is Canada Day, so it's an extra day off for some people. And I took today off as well, so I've got an extra long weekend. It's frankly been awesome and super hot out, actually. Super hot. Hello, Hillary. Happy Monday to you as well. All right, let's go over the pieces. Tonight I am using a basic white card base. Hello, Leanne. Thanks for tuning in. As usual, it is half a sheet of cardstock, so 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4.25 on the 8.5 inch side. There you go. There's your basic card base. If you're brand new to card making and you're not sure how to create your own card base, then shoot me a message and I'm going to share a video with you that will make things super easy. All right, next we have got 2 pieces of Secret C. These are both 4 inches by 5.25. And we have got 2 pieces of basic white. Both are 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. All right, and then I have got a strip of Secret C, which is, why don't I remember what this is? 5.25 by 1.5. Oh, excuse me. I'm choking on nothing. That's great. Krista, you're on vacation. That's exciting. I'm glad to hear that. Hello, Christine. Hello, Darlene. You're new here. Well, I'm really glad you found me. I hope you like this tutorial. Yeah, Christine, the weather is awesome. But right now it is cooking hot in my craft/spare room. It's almost a punishment to put my guests up in this room because it gets so hot in the summertime. Anyway, I digress. Let's get going. So this is relatively simple and easy to do. So the first thing we're going to do is some stamping on one piece of the basic white. And I have got a gigantic Elements of Text stamp that I am going to ink up in Secret C. And before I do that, I'm going to get my baby wipe ready because I'm going to try so hard to stop smudging ink on my cards. It's my new self-help project to stop being so sloppy when it comes to card making. Hey, Kathy, thanks for tuning in. All right, so this is a pretty big stamp. I like to add the ink to stamp when I have big stamps versus stamp to ink. I mean, it's a preference, but I did read in a stamping magazine that you should always do ink to stamp, but I don't follow that rule, obviously. But when it comes to a big stamp, I definitely do like to put ink to stamp. So I'm just going to stamp this right in the middle of my basic white, perhaps a little bit more to the left edge of the card than the right, like so. I'm going to give it some even pressure because it is a gigantic stamp. Annette from Ontario, thanks for tuning in. Hello, Marion. You just made it in time. Hi, Robin. You're not late. We're just getting started. So all I've done is stamped an Element of Text, big, gigantic stamp in the middle of my basic white. All right, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, you can read some of the words, but I don't think it tells a story. It's just like random words, but I do love the script, and it is a handy stamp set, in my opinion. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Teresa from Indiana. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, I'm actually going to close up the Secret C for a second. I need it, but it's so risky to leave my ink pads open. See, look at that. This is exactly why I smudge ink everywhere. I don't even know how I do it. I don't even know. Maybe it's my cases. Maybe I don't clean my cases off enough. Anyway, crisis averted. So now I've just got a scrap of basic white, and I am going to stamp some of the toadstools. Hey Janice, thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to stamp toadstools in first Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to stamp the bigger toadstool in the Misty Moonlight. Move some of my pieces out of the way here. All right, so Misty Moonlight, move the stamp out of the way, and I've got the base. I'm just going to stamp it in the same color. I know that mushrooms are not blue, but I don't care. These are going to be blue mushrooms on this card, and it's shades of blue. Hey Sharon, thanks for tuning in. All right, I don't need the Misty Moonlight at the moment. Oh, you know what it is? Maybe this is why I get ink everywhere, because I get it on my case and then I don't wipe it off. I don't know. All right, see, this is going to slow down card making because now I'm going to constantly be cleaning my fingers. Now I'm going to use Lost Lagoon. I'm going to stamp a smaller toadstool in this color, and I do need to probably re-ink this stamp pad. You'll see why in a second. Let's see if I've got room here. It's a little bit spotty, and I think it's telling me that I need to re-ink. So I just need to order a Lost Lagoon ink refill because I don't think I actually have that color. So you'll see that the Lost Lagoon, maybe you'll be able to tell, but it's a little bit spotty when I do the stamping, and that's telling me that my ink pad needs a little bit of love. So I'm going to go ahead on my next order, grab another ink refill for the Lost Lagoon, and take care of that problem. I'm going to let these mushrooms dry for a second. Usually Stampin' Up! Colors don't need long to dry, but they are a little bit darker, so I like to let them dry a little bit before I do anything else with them. In the meantime, hello Cindy, thanks for tuning in. Diane, I also love the shades of blue concept. It's kind of my thing today. Hello Debbie Newman, thanks for tuning in. All right, if you're crafting along, this is when you're going to grab your blending brush, and I'm just going to use the Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to blend some color right into the Elements of Text stamp. And then you can decide how light or dark you want your color, or perhaps you don't even want to add color to this, but I think it looks pretty nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color, and I'm going to blend it out towards the edges, but I'm not going to go too far past the script. So I'm just going to keep that nice and tidy in there. All right, that's all the blending I'm going to do. Easy peasy, short and sweet. All right, so now we've got some blue blended right into the Elements of Text stamp. And for these mushrooms, I'm going to fussy cut them. Now, I've already gone ahead and fussy cut out a couple, but I'm just going to give a short demonstration in case you're brand new to stamping. When you cut out an image, you're often going to hear people refer to this as fussy cutting. I don't know where that comes from, but it is what it is. So the trick to fussy cutting a nice image is, number one, practice, but number two is that instead of moving your scissors along the edge of your image that you're cutting, you're actually moving your paper. So if you can tell, it's probably hard to tell, but I've got a grip on the corner of this paper, and as that mushroom starts to curve, I'm not moving my scissors, I'm moving the paper as I gently close down my scissors. And that's just going to help give you a more even snipped edge, right? It's not going to be too jagged. Anyway, so that's the trick. If you are new to fussy cutting, number one, practice. Number two, you're going to want to move the paper, not the scissors. So I've gone ahead, cut out my 2 mushrooms last night actually, and then I'm just going to get kind of an idea of where I'm going to put these on my paper. Then I'm going to grab my Secret C, check for wayward ink, and I've got these little tiny mushrooms that I'm going to stamp in Secret C, but I want them to show, wherever I decide I'm going to put these mushrooms, I want these to kind of show a little bit. So right about there, and one more right about here. And I just got the stem, so I'm going to go ahead and add that, and then we're just going to put this card together. So my photopolymer stamps are starting to, they don't want to stick so well to my acrylic block. So that just means that I have to give them a little bit of attention. And what I'm going to do after this live is give them a little bath in a very gentle dish soap solution and let them dry. And it's important to let them air dry, at least in my experience. And then that is all I need to do to get those stamps re-sticky again. So that's what's happening. I don't know if you could tell that they were kind of coming off my block, but it's fine. They just need some love. Oh shoot, I need that. I need those. I'm going to also add these to the inside of the card. So the second piece of white is for the inside. Look at, this is exactly how I do it. It's all coming together now. I see the error of my ways. Hey Suzanne, thanks for tuning in. All right, so I'm just going to add these right into the right corner of my card so I don't have a naked inside layer. I'm not using a sentiment tonight, so this card is just going to be waiting for the right moment, and then I might add a sentiment to the inside of the card. So maybe it's going to be a birthday card, maybe it's going to be a thank you card, a thinking of you card. I don't know. Time will tell. Now, I don't often do that. I usually add a sentiment, but I find sometimes I'm needing a card and I don't have anything suitable. So I thought I need to have a stash of cards that don't have a sentiment on them. What about you guys? Do you guys have a stash of cards that you don't put a sentiment on? You kind of save it for when you need it? All right, now this layer is going to be glued onto, shucks, I smudged. I'm like it right in the corner. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Okay, doesn't matter. It's better than it would have been, right? If I wasn't taking care with baby wipes, I'm sure. Oops, I shook the camera. Sorry, friends. Oh, this glue. I just have a bad habit of leaving my glue on its side, and then this one is now angry with me and it doesn't want to behave. You think I'd remember, right? I'm going to give up with this card smudging. I'm just not even going to mention it anymore. I can't get away from it. It's my curse. All right, so I'm just matting the white layer to my Secret C layer and adjusting a little bit because the Tombow gives you a few seconds of wiggle room if you need to adjust that paper to make it perfect. All right, this is going to be glued down onto the front of the card, but before I do that, I'm going to emboss this piece of Secret Sea with the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder, which of course I've already done. So if you can tell, this is embossed with a mini corrugated embossing folder. It's got, looks, well, you can see. So now what I'm going to do with this is going to get glued down right to the right edge of the card. But first, I'm kind of in this, what's the word I'm looking for, phase of ripping my paper. So I'm going to rip it. Cindy, you don't see a smudge. Trust me, it's there. Janice, is that what I did? Janice says the piece of paper landed on my open stamp pad. Oh well. Okay, so I'm just tearing this now. Maybe you don't like tearing. If you don't like tearing, do not tear it, all right? If you like to tear it, tear it. And I go back and forth with my tear so I get a nice, oops, distressed kind of look on the edge of the card, which is a little bit hard to see because this is such a dark color. And now I'm just going to glue that to the right edge of the card. And then this card is ready to be put together. I don't think there's much else to do. I have to think about it. My brain's not working. It's too hot. It's too hot. So I've started designing for the celebratory SIPs class that starts on Thursday. It's going to be good. I hope you guys tune in. I'm really excited about this class. I'm just snipping the edge a little bit because I clearly wasn't very accurate with my measurements. So there we go. Here is the front layer of the card, and I am just going to glue this down onto my card base. And then we will add the inside layer, and then we'll add the toadstools. All right, oops. Perfect. Now for the inside. Cindy says I could keep the other piece of the teared cardstock for another card. Yeah, you're totally right. You're right. I could do that, but it's too late. It's in my garbage can. I gave up on keeping all my little tiny bits and pieces and odds and ends because what I found was that I told myself I was going to use all my scraps, and then I don't. Then I don't, and they just add to my disorganization and lack of well, it's just clutter, right? So I give up. I don't keep little pieces anymore. I know it's shocking. Can you believe that a crafter is saying that? I don't keep my scraps. Hey, Lorene, thanks for tuning in. Oh, thanks, Teresa. I like the look too. All right, and I really love these little mushroom caps. So I'm very happy that the Terrific Toadstools set is sticking around for another round in the annual catalog, or maybe it's an online exclusive. I can't remember, but it's a fun set, and I like mushrooms. I like toadstools. They're very, I find them very whimsical, right? And you can do them in all sorts of colors. You can get wild and crazy, or you can do them in neutrals. Cindy says, make a card right away with it. Yeah, I know. I understand your logic. I totally understand your logic. All right, inside, outside. Now, mushrooms. So I'm going to pop these guys up, and I want my Lost Lagoon to just be a slight bit shorter. So I'm snipping it. I'm going to snip the edge off, and I'm going to tuck it underneath my Misty Moonlight toadstool. So it's just going to kind of peek out a little bit. All right, now I need dimensionals. And I already know if I get this just so, this is exactly the way I want these mushrooms to be stuck together. So I've taken that dimensional and I've stuck it to the back side so that it catches the smaller toadstool as well as the bigger one. And then that way, I'm just going to add this to the card front in one shot. Yeah, Leanne, it is my trademark. Smudges are my trademark, and you're right, I am going to embrace it. In fact, I've been having some craft guilt because I haven't been using my Cricut Joy that my mom bought me on spring break. I've made like 2 t-shirts with it. That's it. So I have this craft guilt that I'm not using the Cricut. And now, Leanne, I'm inspired. I think I'm going to have to come up with some saying about smudge marks and it being my trademark. And I'm going to make myself a little crafting shirt. And I will embrace it because, I mean, I'm just so good at it. It's like my superpower. All right. Janice, you do not have room to store more stuff you're not using. You and I are on the same page. I just cannot do it. All right, so of course I'm going to add some linen thread. So I've just left my linen thread in the bag. This is just a handy little trick because instead of pulling it out, I like to leave the tail end out of 1/4 of the bag and then I just pull out what I need. Usually it works like a charm, but tonight, because I'm showing it on video, it doesn't want to do it as well. So I'm just going to be fairly generous, and then I'm going to attempt a double bow. Da, da, da. I'm so wild and crazy tonight. Thanks, Suzanne. I love this card too. In fact, I cannot wait to show you guys the inspiration for this card, which happens to be florals, and it is probably, when you guys see the inspiration for this card, I don't think you're going to reach for your terrific toadstool bundle. Like, it's beautiful. But I promised I wasn't going to do florals tonight, but the sample card is florals and it is ridiculously beautiful. And that was a card I got in a card swap at a little crafty afternoon, or crafty day actually, in Nanaimo not too long ago. I can't exactly remember when it was. Sometime in May? Yes, it was May. It was the end of May. And my friend Tanya and my friend Jackie and I, we went up together for the day and it was really lovely actually. All right. Well, thanks, Hillary. I think it works out pretty good. All right, so most of you know how I feel about glue dots, at least my glue dots. So I'm not bothering with glue dots. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue on there. And then what I do is I'm weighting it down. I'm well aware there's ink there. I see it. I'm just going to weight that down for a second. And in the meantime, I'm going to grab my 2025 to 2027 ink color flat pearls. I have no idea where my take your pick tool is, so I'm just going to grab these pearls with my paper snips, and I am going to strategically place some of these pearls to cover my smudge. Yeah, there we go. Ah, Lorene, you think I need to do an embossing card? Girl, I don't like heat embossing. I do not like heat embossing, but I know that you are so interested in it. So yes, I need to do it for you, but let's have a date. Hey, I'll come over. Make me some coffee and I'll come over and then we'll do some heat embossing because I don't know. Some of you, let's do a little poll because I have a feeling that I am the minority. I do not like heat embossing. So throw it in the comments if you love to heat emboss, or if you're like me and you couldn't be bothered because it's just messy. But yes, Lorene, I know you need to learn how to do it, and I want to teach you. I can teach you how. I have all the supplies. I know you've got the supplies. So we just need to come up with a date that works for us, and then we can have a little coffee date and some crafting time, which would be really nice actually, because I like hanging out with you. All right, Cindy Reed loves heat embossing. Sheila, you love the mushrooms. Thank you. Oh, I don't need goodies, Lorene. I just need coffee. Let's be honest, I just need coffee. In fact, I can even come over with a coffee, right? You don't have to make it. All right. So while this sits for one more moment, I will show you the card that I got in the swap. And this card was made by a lady named Anne Anderson. And she does, I'm just reading her business card. Personalized cards, 3D cards, mini novelty boxes, holiday themed gifts, boxed card sets, place cards, and bookmarks. And her business name is Custom Cards and Paper Crafts. I'm not sure if Anne is on social media, but I should check it out because she made a 3D project that was really special as well. So she's quite crafty. Anyway, here's her card. Isn't it just ridiculously beautiful? I think these are the Gallery in Bloom stamps or something like that. So gorgeous. I do not have the stamp set, but I was thinking about it today because today's the last day for the sweet and sweet product sale. And I'm like, you know what? I need this bundle. I'm going to put it in my cart, but it was sold out. So oh well. I'm very sure I'm going to end up with this bundle because this card is so gorgeous and I just love that little flower that she stamped on the inside. So yes, isn't that nice? So this was Anne's card that I got in the card swap. And here is my version with toadstools because I promised no florals for today, but I'm telling you, this, I think if I had the Galleries in Bloom stamp set, it would have been really hard for me not to recreate this card exactly as it is because it's just so beautiful. So she's also added some wing Castella. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's got, the flower just has a beautiful, beautiful shimmer. Anyway, gorgeous. So those are our two cards for tonight. I know I have missed some comments. Marion, you can't get yours to work. You need some lessons. Are you talking about the heat embossing? Yeah, heat embossing. Finicky. Flipping the camera around, it might get bumpy. All right. So it is hot. I'm sweating. So you can see that I don't have a house guest anymore, and my spare bed is become my table yet again. So yeah, I felt a little lost not having my craft room for a couple days. I mean, I have my craft stuff out and I could craft at the kitchen table, but I wanted in that craft room. Anyway, thanks, Janet. I like the colors tonight too, but I'm telling you, Anne's card is just, it takes the cake. It's so beautiful. And the toadstools is fun too, but I honestly feel like you almost can't beat this. It is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But anyway, both are nice. They're different but same, right? Different but same. All right. So next class, Thursday, celebratory sips, card class number 1. So we're kicking it off Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Replays on YouTube, of course, if you cannot catch the live. For those of you getting the card kits, I'm going to try to get those into the mail for you by next weekend because not all the cards are designed yet, but it's coming. My plan is to finish it tomorrow morning while my boys are sleeping because, teenager, he's going to sleep in, and my husband, he loves to sleep in. It doesn't matter how good of a sleep he gets. He loves to sleep in. I'm so jealous, almost. I would like to sleep in, but I also really love a couple of hours of quiet time with my coffee and my crafts in the morning. So I guess I have to be careful what I wish for. So yes, I'm an early riser because I like that little bit of time to myself. I'm probably not the only one. All right. So celebratory sips coming out on Thursday. A reminder for my Canadian friends, if you shop with me in the month of July, a minimum of $50 before tax, shipping, and any reward redemption, then you are just automatically getting the card kits for the celebratory sips class. I just see that you order. I double check with you to make sure the address you have for your order is going to be the same address you want the card kits shipped to, and I'm going to make those kits as per order. I don't make a bunch of extra because I don't like to have a bunch of kits kicking around, but that's what happens. So if you're my customer, you order, I see your order because I get a little notification, and then I reach out to you, make sure I got the right address, make you the kits and send them off to you, and then you can craft along with the class without having to do any of the prep work. So you don't have to cut or score or emboss, but what you do need is your own bundle. So you would need, if you wanted to craft along exactly how I'm doing it, you would need the celebratory sips bundle. You would need your own ink, adhesives. I think that's it. And of course, if you don't have the bundle, you just substitute whatever you have in your craft stash. It's whatever you want to do. All right, friends, thanks so much for tuning in. I know I'm missing comments. Thanks, Sherry. It's Canada Day tomorrow, and then it's the 4th of July, and I can actually see the fireworks over in Port Angeles if I just take a short 10-minute walk from my backyard up into a lookout. So we often like to go up on the 4th of July to the lookout and watch the fireworks in Port Angeles. They're far away, but you can still see them. And I'm telling you, the Americans, you guys put on a killer fireworks show. Like, it would be amazing to be somewhere in the States during 4th of July, because I think you guys really know how to celebrate. And I love fireworks. I mean, who doesn't? Well, all right, dogs. Some dogs don't like fireworks. Other animals, I'm sure. I digress. Anyway, Canada Day tomorrow, then the 4th of July. It's a great week, friends. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you all on Thursday. If you're catching the replay, either on Facebook or YouTube, say hello, tell me where you're from. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will find the supply list and the measurements and my shopping link right in the video description. All right, friends, have a really good night, and I hope you all have a lovely evening.